What's going on, beach anglers? Welcome back to another episode of What's Happening Surf Fishing. Today we're going to go over what is, why you should use, and how to tie these slider clips and slider sinkers and make an effective, functional surf fishing rig. So you might or might not have seen these little sliding coast locks on the beach or on other people's rigs and thought to yourself, what are those? How do you use them and why do you use them? The why is pretty simple: convenience and really protection also. What these sliding clips are gonna do is they're gonna create you basically a Carolina style rig for the surf. I say for the surf, I mean you can use them anywhere, but we use a lot of these surf fishing. And for today's demonstration, we'll use the blue Perdido leader as our main line. So just assume this is the braid. And then we'll use this grass line as our actual leader. We'll be doing some demonstrations, some tie-ins, so I want you guys to keep that in mind as we're going through that. The blue is your braid, the line that's on your reel. So a normal, everyday Carolina rig, you would slide, usually it's like a little egg sinker. You would slide an egg sinker on your main line and then tie your rig, or sometimes even just a hook in like inshore fishing, to that tag end. So now you have your weight running freely up and down your main line. Usually what you'll see is your weight on your main line, then usually a barrel swivel. We'll go ahead and tie that guy on. And then your leader line with like your hook, your beads, whatever, tied to the other end of that barrel swivel. Then your hook with your bait on it. What this is gonna do, it's gonna let this bait roam a little bit freer than it would with your standard just like double drop pompano rig. So you got your reel here, your main line with the weight on it. That barrel swivel is gonna stop the weight from running down the leader. Then you have your leader with your jewelry, some beads afloat, hook and bait. That is your standard old Carolina rig right there, guys. And really a lot of times, especially in commerce surf in the Gulf, you can get away with this. You can get away with like a bigger egg weight. But as we all know, it's not always calm out there. That's why we use things like the pyramid weights or the Spudniks. We need something that's gonna hold a little bit better than this rounded shape egg weight. So to use one of these sliding coast locks, you're basically creating the same rig, but instead of sliding the weight on the main line, you're sliding the coast lock on the main line. So we'll get our main line back out, right? So this is our reel. This is our braid coming off the reel. You're gonna take that sliding coast lock, there's a little hole in there, and slide your main line right through it. Get that out of the way. I'll add a little bead at this point, just because we're dealing with like a lot of current out there, and that little piece of plastic with the weight on it will beat against your knot and weaken it over time. So I'll go ahead and add a bead, then our barrel swivel. Go ahead and get that guy tied on. So we have barrel swivel, bead, sliding coast lock, all on our main line, all on our braid. Then we'll take our actual leader, and I'll usually have this part of the rig already tied up. I'll have this guy tied up. I just stick it in like an old rig bag or something. You'll have your hook on one end, and you can add some attractant if you want. So another bead, then that barrel swivel. And that barrel swivel coming off the main line, you'll go ahead and tie this piece of leader off to it. Let me clean all this up so you guys can get a good look at it. So the finished product looks something like this right here. You have your reel with your main line. You got that sliding coast lock there, your bead, barrel swivel. Then you have your leader, bead, and hook. So at this point, you can strap whatever kind of sinker you want onto this clip. Be a standard little pyramid weight. You go with like a long tail pyramid. You can even clip a Spudnik onto here. And that is how you use that sliding coast lock. It's gonna give that bait a little bit more freedom to kind of float around out there instead of just being kind of stuck in one position like it would be with a dropper loop. You can also make this same style of rig without this clip. Take that guy off with these sliding sinkers. I get these from Redfin. They have a hole right down the middle. So there's nothing to connect that coast lock to. When people see these in the shop, they think they're a broken sinker. It's made like that, sir. So again, with our main line, our braid, You would just slide your braid through that hole. Everything else is the same. Now you have that sliding pyramid without the coast lock. This is also a great option. I believe a lot of times, guys, we get stuck in like what's convenient or what we know. And that's about as far as like the exploration goes, because it's working, right? We buy pompano rigs. 90% of them, the ones you get off the shelf, are just going to be a double drop, 2-aught hook, floating beads. But there's a lot of different rigs out there that you could be fishing. This is a great one for drum. Something about that bait resting on the bottom. They're able to pick it up and run with it for a minute before they feel the tension. That immediate tension could spook a fish. Meaning you have your dropper there, your hook, your bait, everything's nice and tight. There's no room for it to go anywhere. A fish picks it up, there's immediate tension and they're gone. With that slider, they're able to take the bait for a second. Just long enough for them to get it in their mouth, and then that sinker will set the hook. This is also why that running trace leader I fish is so effective. You fish these kind of rigs with a loose drag, they're able to take that bait for a while before they realize what's going on. We have both versions of these packed up, ready to go, online and in-house. We have our Redfin Fishing Panhandle drum rig, which is the leader line, the barrel swivel, and the hook, and then that sliding coast lock is separate. So once you open this up, that piece is separate, it's not tied to anything. That's what you'll slide on your main line, then tie your main line off to this leader. We've also started doing these with the sliding sinker included in the package. So you'll have your actual leader, barrel swivel, leader, beads, attractant, hook, then the sliding sinker comes separate. You'll take that sliding sinker, put it on your main line, then tie off to your barrel swivel, and you're ready to rock and roll. So these are some quick grabs if you just want to try these out. The more presentations you get into out there, guys, the better off you're going to be. It's not always just a double drop pompano rig day. For a long time, if I wasn't getting bit on my standard double drop pompano rig, I just thought it was a bad day of fishing. That's not necessarily the case. Try out some different options before you give up. These fish finder rigs are a great option. They're running trace, even just breaking down to a single drop. The way you're presenting your bait and the way it feels once they suck in that bait could change the outcome of that fish investigating your bait. The coastal line has arrived, guys. We got our new braid in. I've been so excited about this. I've been fishing this braid for about 6 months now, and it is excellent. The same manufacturer that's making the Perdido leader for us is now making the braid. All of a sudden, I'm in the line business. I don't know how that happened, but it's a good business to be in. We brought in 15 pound, 20 pound, and 30 pound. To be more specific, we actually brought in 15.9, 22 pound, and 32.8. I have 500 yard spools, 1500 yard spools, and the big boys, the 3000 yard spools. I'm gonna strongly suggest a mono backing with all this braid, guys. This stuff is so thin, you're gonna use a lot of it to spool your reel. When I first started getting this, I spooled a 4000 series Nautix, which I think has a suggested 20 pound braid of like maybe 300 yards. 432 yards of the coastal line went on there. That's a lot of braid for a 4000 series reel. Now you can do that, but my suggestion would be to put like at least 100, maybe 150 yards of a mono backing, and then top it off with the braid. Like, you're never gonna use that much braid. And when I say use it, cast that much. You might use it on a run. A big fish might take some line out, but as far as like casting capabilities and all that, you're not throwing 400 yards. I don't care how far you think you throw, it ain't 400 yards. So mono back it, save yourself some money, get more out of that bigger spool. With this 3000 yard spool, you could do 7-8 reels. That's why I brought in these bigger spools. Like the 500 yard spool for me is like I buy a new reel and I need to put line on it. But I'll re-spool everything twice, sometimes 3 times a year, depending on activity. So when I'm re-spooling, I buy the big boys. So I'll buy those 1500 yards or 3000 yard spools and go ahead and knock a bunch of reels out with one spool. But if you're just wanting to give it a shot, try it out, 500 yards is what you want. We already got it on the website, guys, and in-house. Check it out. Hope this video was helpful. I've had a couple questions on those little sliding coast locks, so I thought I'd do a quick video on it. As always, thanks for the continued support, guys, and I will see you on the next one.